Okay guys, I'm gonna make some snares up today. I got I got my cable here. I buy all my snare wire or snare cable in bulk. I use 3/32 for Coyote and Wolves. It's a 500 foot roll, and it's the 7x7 twist. That's what works best for me. I know some guys use 5/64 for Coyote, but anyway, I just find that this works best for where I am because I catch coyotes and wolves, and I don't really want to switch over to 1/8 cable, and I've never had a wolf break out of this size. This here is 1/16, and it's for my fox and under the ice beaver snaring. Where I am, I can only snare under the ice for beaver. I can't snare on land. And again, it's the 7x7 twist, 1/16 cable. I think this is about a 100-foot roll. Got a pair of pliers here that cuts the wire really well. It makes a nice square, clean cut. When I first started out, I was using a chisel. You got to do what you got to do, but you know, as I started making a little more money at trapping, well, I figured it was time to start getting some of the right tools. So for my coyote snares, I like the cable. I cut the cable at 48 inches long, and what that does is it gives me roughly a 12-inch loop. So get her cut here. Now the way I make mine, I have used the swivels in the past. Not a real big fan of them. So what I do is on the end that ties off to the tree, I put a double furrow, slide it on, loop it back out, push it back through, pull it up fairly tight, and then for my snare end, I just got to cut this old lock off. I reuse my snare locks. No reason why you can't. The snare wire is garbage, but the lock itself, nothing wrong with it. So what I do is first slide the lock on, then a double furrow, put it through the lock like so, then I loop it back through, leaving about that much cable sticking out through the furrow. And this one I pull up real nice and tight, and there you go. So this end here is looped, and that's what I tie my my number 9 black annealed wire off. Goes through the eye loop and then gets tied off to a tree or a drag. So then when I hang my snares, looks like that. Gives me a 12-inch loop. Some people, you know, they don't like having the tier drop, so they'll go with the 1x19. I just don't find with the 1x19 that it falls nice and quick. You want these snares set so that, you know, the wind can sometimes, you know, fold them down. You don't want much pressure there because the coyote or wolf's going to back out of it if they feel too much tension. So yeah, so you know, if I thought that this was two-tiered shaped, well, I can always get like a brass rabbit snare wire and sort of hang it up if I wanted. I don't usually though. I end up putting my wire like that, and I set them about 12 inches off the ground, and you can see how fast that falls. So anyway, I didn't crimp the furrows. I don't have a crimper, I just use a hammer and crunch them in. So for the fox, let me get the wire out here. For the fox, it's the exact same setup, just with the smaller wire. And instead of 48 inches, I do 40 inches. So you just measure out your 40 inches here. Give that a quick cut. I just keep all my little stuff here in a little jar. So again, a little double furrow. Slide that. Put the other end back in. Now I usually leave about 1/8 of the end of the wire sticking out past, just so that I know it's in there good. I don't want too much excess because it's going to get tangled up in the hair and that, and it can do some damage. So again, this is the end that's going to get tied off to a drag or a tree, or if I'm snaring beaver under the ice, to the snare pole. Other end, slide my lock on, then my double furrow, and then through the back side of the snare lock I loop it back through the double furrow, again leaving about a 1/8 piece sticking out. And once again, there you go. So this end would get tied off to whatever you're tying off to, and for beaver and fox I use a number 12 black annealed wire, and that one's a little bit slower, but anyway, you can kind of bend this wire too to make it a little bit rounder if you want. All depends on what you're looking to do, but anyway, you can see how easy that is. And then when I'm packaging up my snares, I just pull them around, and there you go. You can throw these in a baggie, in your snare pack, whatever you want to do. I boil all my snares in cedar, and then once they're boiled I never touch them with my bare hands. I also boil some cotton gloves, let them dry out, and then everything goes into a snare bag. The gloves, the snares themselves. The snare wire I also boil. I pre-cut into about 2.5 foot lengths, coil them up, boil everything. Everything goes into the bag. Nothing ever gets touched with my bare hands. Some guys don't believe in scent control, some guys do. I'm one of the guys that do. I've seen time and time again where I hang a snare and a coyote backs out because, you know, I'm guessing he smelt it or he's gone around the snare. Anyway, that's the way I was taught, so that's the way I do it. Anyway, so yeah, so everything gets banded up like that into a snare bag along with the gloves and the tie-off wire, and then my bait and everything goes into a whole separate bag. You know, don't want that cross-contamination. For fox, I usually hang my snares about 8 inches off the ground, and for beaver, usually I do, well, depending on how deep the pond is, but you know, on average I do 2 levels of snares, one above the other, and I'll do 3, so a total of 6 snares on one snare pole. And anyway, yeah, so this is what I do for snares. And I've caught lots of coyotes and that. So if you guys have any questions or comments, let me know, and I'll help you out.